What happens when a family tragedy collides with teenage turmoil and media obsession? A 17-year-old girl accused of killing her parents, and then reaching out to true crime influencers to cover her story. This is the case of Sarah Grace Patrick, where crime becomes performance and attention becomes motive. On the morning of February 20th, 2025, in Carrollton, Georgia, police responded to an emergency call placed by 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick. The call came after her 6-year-old sister found their mother, Kristen Brock, 41, and stepfather, James Brock, 45, shot to death in bed. The crime shocked their community. The Brocks were well known, active in their church, and appeared to live a stable, faith-centered life. Investigators immediately began piecing together what they later described as mountains of physical and digital evidence. For months, Sarah appeared to grieve publicly. She gave a eulogy at her mother's funeral and posted emotional TikTok tributes, asking for prayers. But beneath the mourning, investigators said she was also contacting true crime influencers, calling the case a really big hit and offering them intel. By July 2025, after nearly 5 months of investigation, Sarah voluntarily turned herself in, escorted by her biological father. She was charged as an adult with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. At her bond hearing on August 19, 2025, the courtroom was split. Supporters, including her father and pastor, testified to her faith, kindness, and lack of criminal history, even wearing "I Stand with Sarah" shirts. Prosecutors argued she posed a flight risk and might influence her younger sister, the case's key witness. The judge denied bond, citing the seriousness of the charges. Her arraignment was scheduled for September 22, 2025, with a tentative trial date of January 5, 2026, pending indictment. Why would a 17-year-old allegedly kill her parents, and then seem to orchestrate her own story online? While no official motive has been released, 4 key themes emerge: family conflict and custody history. Sarah had a history of instability, including a 2018 custody battle involving her mother. Shifting guardianship may have contributed to family tensions. Funeral and public behavior. At her mother's funeral, Sarah gave a moving eulogy. Investigators, however, questioned whether this display was genuine grief or part of a cover. Social media and performance on TikTok, Sarah posted tributes with captions like, "Please send prayers for healing, I should delete later." At the same time, she reached out to influencers, suggesting the case could boost views and offering insider details. Faith and community testimony supporters described her as a devout churchgoer who called her pastor from jail to pray. Her father claimed she had no warning signs and criticized investigators for questioning her at 16 without a guardian present. Taken together, these details paint a portrait of contradictions: a grieving daughter, a public performer, and a suspect potentially framing her own story for attention. So how do we analyze this case through criminology? Narcissistic or attention-seeking traits offenders sometimes crave recognition through crime. Sarah's alleged outreach to influencers suggests a need for validation, not only as a suspect but as a central figure in her own unfolding narrative. Media influence and crime performance. Decades of criminological research show that media coverage can shape criminal behavior. Here, the suspect herself allegedly anticipated media attention and sought to control it. Was this violence the result of rage, family dysfunction, or a desire for fame? And what does it reveal about a society that consumes crime stories so eagerly that even suspects see them as platforms? The case of Sarah Grace Patrick is ongoing. The facts are unfolding in courtrooms, but the cultural questions are already here. When crime becomes performance, when grief is broadcast online, and when suspects themselves reach out to influencers, we must ask, are we witnessing a new form of crime in the digital age? This is Case Cause Criminology, where we go beyond the headlines to unpack not just what happened, but why it matters.